And hello and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Last time we accepted the request to probably end a lot of requests. Maybe not all the requests, but I could very easily imagine it going that direction. In the pitch black of the hallway, the only sound is the echoing of my own footsteps. After waiting until my classmates were soundly asleep, I slipped my way out of the dorm to infiltrate the abandoned school building. With a recent construction like this, it's definitely going to take some time to get things ready. To be honest, without Chizuru's cooperation, I doubt I could have gotten anywhere, and even now it won't be easy. That said, failure simply is not an option. After pushing Sachi that hard, I damn well better give my part everything I've got. Is that a saw? Am I gonna saw supports to make it easier? Maybe? Getting close to 4 in the morning. Another hour. We're getting dangerously close to Sachi or Mane waking up. Just to be on the safe side, I guess I'll call it a night. My room. From the school hallway, I noticed a single light still on in the dormitory. When I quietly look inside, a few minutes later, I find Sachi crouching down over her desk, of course. She must have been up all night working. God damn. I would say that's crazy, but didn't I just do that? Her normally neat desk is cluttered with books, magazines, paper, everything from documents concerning money, modern architectural techniques to yellowed old newspaper clippings. Probably because she confidently declared I should leave everything to her, Sachi's consciously trying not to show any signs of struggling. But in reality, she's practically at her wit's ends. Precisely because of her own thoroughness and intelligence, the faults in every new plan must present themselves with frustrating speed. There are just no easy answers to this challenge. With a silent shout of encouragement, I ease the door, shut and quietly leave Sachi's room behind. Does she successfully wake me up? Oh no, don't. We don't need this right now. A pleasant morning. The first relatively cool day after what felt like weeks of brutal heat wave headlines in the newspaper. After gathering us in the dorm lobby, Michiru delivers an abrupt announcement. Oh, this sounds like quite the intriguing tale. Alright then. How did he happen to meet this ghost of yours, Michiru? And yes, say you're not an entertainer. God, that's stupid. I don't think putting yourself through the changes in the heat and cold that much is healthy. I mean, this is pretty obviously me.
ったら明かりのついてない真っ暗な廊下をふっと黒い人影が横切ったのってことがあったのよ。
Ah, I see. The Kazami Yuuji encountered was definitely me, but a superstitious explanation of those events is pretty convenient.
なんだ、見たって言うから期待してたのに、ただのそれはきっとチルチルが見た夢なのよ。レム睡眠中で覚醒していた脳が幻を見せただけなのよさ。
Not a bad explanation.
はあ、あんたには夢ってもんがないわね。
Romance is not reality, though.
チルチルと違って現実見てるからな。
Yeah, basically.
それはどういう意味かな。
Oh, what do you think?
なるほど。話はだいたい理解したわ。
Hell, that sort of was... You could sort of tie that to her route, too, in a way.
あれ？榊さんってこういう話苦手なのに意外な反応。別に苦手というわけではないけれど、その幽霊はきっと無害ね。
Ah, are you smart enough to put two together?
無害ってなんでそんなことがわかるのよ。
そうね。言ってみれば、その幽霊とはちょっとした知り合いなのよ。
Oh, I'm not your friend? Oh, that hurts, Yumiko.
ユミコ、あんたあんまり友達いなさそうだと思ったら、そっち方面のお友達がたくさんいたの？
Just say yes, she'll believe you. She might legitimately believe you. Just say yes and go along with it.
ユミちゃん、モテそうだもんな、お化けに。
Oh my.
少し誤解を招いてしまったみたいだけれど、無害だというのは本当よ。ねえ、風見くん。
そこでユージ？
Just make it so obvious. Because she's figured out the real identity. Yeah, I'm familiar with that spirit as well. From what the principal tells me, it's one of those, a friendly ghost. Seems like it won't cause any trouble unless we go out of our way to provoke it.
そっか、ユージも言うんならきっと本当なのね。これで安心して眠れるわよ。
God, she's really fucking buying it.
よかったな、チルチル。これで夜サッチンにトイレについてきてもらわなくても大丈夫なのよさ。
No, let's not go too far. Let's not go too far.
そんなことで呼ばないわよ。部屋にトイレついてるし。
Wait, your room does have... Does mine? Wait, I don't... Yes, I do think it does have a bathroom.
ってサッチで思い出したけど、あの子最近部屋にこもることが多くなってきたわよね。今日だって本当はサチにも聞いてほしかったのに、ユージが今はそっとしておいてやれって言うから。
Yeah, that's probably for the best. Sachi might be clever enough to figure out what's going on too. Yeah, she's right in the middle of planning how to get rid of that test for you. Need some time to think.
それは分かってるけど、本当に大丈夫なの？これまでいろんなことをサチに頼んだけど、あの子がこんなに必死になったことなんてなかったわよ。そういえばそうなのよさ。サチンは何をやらせても涼しい顔でやっちゃうってのが美徳だったのに。
それだけ今回の依頼が難しい案件だということでしょ。私も自分なりに方法を考えてみたけど全然浮かばない。
Four cases settle on me, silently requesting a comment from the person who volunteered to undertake Michiru's request. It's fine, yeah, Sachi's definitely got some tunnel vision right now. But that's just because she's seriously concentrating on this request. It's not like she's completely oblivious to the world around her.
じゃあ心配いらないの？
Well, I didn't say that. That's right. She isn't missing any meals and she still stops by my room every day.
まあ一番一緒にいる彼氏がそう言うなら信じるけど、やっぱり心配は心配よね。
And not surprising, as the end of summer vacation approaches, Sachi's been spending more and more time shut up in her room. Fortunately, the girl does seem to regard maintaining her physical health as one of her responsibilities. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's getting at least the minimum necessary nutrition and rest, but... Alright, since you're all so concerned, I'll go check up on her in a little while.
そうね、そうしてもらえると安心できるかも。サッチンに何かあったらす すぐに知らせてほしいのよ。
You know, even if that is the case, you know I'm not gonna give it to you. Right? Got it. Well then, after cleaning the courtyard in Sachi's stead, I make my way over to her room, and then pause outside the door. At least Sachi hasn't been responding to knocks or even shouts from outside. It's becoming a matter of course to barge into her room first and say hello second. I'm coming in. When I enter the room, I'm struck with a powerful sense of deja vu. It's like I'm watching a recording of yesterday, or the day before that. Even from behind, I can tell Sachi's glaring down at her desk with intense focus. Thick reference books and piles of paper lie in messy heaps across its surface. Seems like she's also been doing a little research on the computers in the school building itself. But for the last few days, the vast majority of her time has been spent working alone in her room. Oblivious to my approach, Sachi silently continues to move her eyes across the pages. Sachi? No reaction. Not that I'd been particularly hopeful. Hey, Sachi.
Yuku.
I finally succeed in catching Sachi's attention by shaking her shoulder as I speak. Letting her book fall close, she calmly turns her chair to face me. Well, this is a standard part of the new normal. But today I seem to have caught Sachi somewhat off her guard. For a moment, I can see the deep exhaustion in her face.
私の顔に何かついていますでしょうか?
No, I can't say there is. But Michiru and the others are worried, so I promise to check up on you.
そうですか。私、皆さんにご心配を。
Well, that's just natural. Well, your top priority at the moment is fulfilling Michiru's request. I guess you don't have much choice but to slightly neglect the rest of it for the time being.
そうですね。一度約束したことは絶対守らなければいけません。嘘をつくのは悪い子ですから。
Oh boy. Only bad girls tell lies. Sachi truly believes that. There's a question I need to ask her at this point. Sachi, mind if I ask you something?
はい、何でしょう。
You told me I could leave this job to you. Is that still true?
はい、私一人で大丈夫です。
I avoided asking outright whether she's found a method to get rid of the test, hoping to lead her gently toward revealing the truth. But Sachi answers my question without a moment's hesitation. A fact.
はい、学力テストの日までには必ず依頼を達成してみせます。
Not that you seem to have any better ideas. As she speaks, Sachi intently returns my gaze. I've seen eyes like these before. There's none of Sachi's familiar spark of confidence, none of her composed determination. These are the eyes of a human being driven into a corner, knowing that all roads lie close to them. Still unable to accept their approaching ruin, blindly clinging to an impossible vision of the future. Sachi's eyes are clouded with a narcotic haze of denial. Well, this does remove all doubt.
何がはっきりしたんですか?
Nothing. Just talking to myself.
そうですか。
A slightly disconcerted expression flashes across Sachi's face, but soon enough she's regained control of her features. In that case, I'll leave it in your hands. But if something comes up, say the word and I'll help anytime.
はい、ゆうくんにそう言っていただけると心強いです。
After ruffling Sachi's hair for a moment, I quietly leave the room. If Sachi had admitted her dilemma and turned to me for help, events would probably have taken a complete 180 from their current course. And in doing so, I think the answer to my problem would soon have been revealed to her. But instead, Sachi brushed my offer aside and hid her struggle from me. Even to the point of lying, violating her own absolute standards for goodness. Unfortunately, it seems like my preparations won't have been in vain. I mean, she is lying in a way, but she didn't really lie based on how she phrased it. It's more she's saying things what she expects to be true, even if it's based on a complete denial of reality. When someone asks you for a simple summer, plenty of things come to mind. Cicadas. Yeah, not really an America. Watermelon. Not as much, but it's still summery. The beach, yeah. Fireworks, yes. Shaved ice. No? I know shaved ice is still a thing, but it's not really that it's not really that common of a thing. This is Japan, obviously. I'm just comparing. Anyone can make a pretty decent list out of just the obvious standards. We've all experienced every one of these at some point. But for students in particular, one of the more memorable aspects of the summer experience arrives only at its very end.
よりにもよってなんでこんな日に神様がさあ夏休み最後の日を楽しみなさいって言ってるような天気のいい日にどうして私は勉強しないといけないのよ
See, when I was in school, we didn't have summer homework or vacation homework or whatever.
それはあんたが全然宿題やってなかったからでしょうが。
Not that I think it's a bad idea. You know, assuming, if I set up sort of a summer homework thing, it would probably be on a regular schedule to get people to do it, at least on a somewhat regular basis, because, you know, people are gonna, do it only at the very end. If, like this. It's probably not the worst thing from a purely retention standpoint, really.
だってわからない宿題があったらいつもはサチがやってくれてたし。
呆れた。あなた1学年下の小峰さんに宿題を手伝ってもらっていたの？
だってサチがよろしければ私がって言ってくれるから。
で、思わずその行為に甘えてしまったと。
I don't think she didn't realize.
きっとチルチルはあれな、サッチンみたいなできる人と結婚したらダメ人間になってしまうのよさ。
Ah, crap. Is that how the mature route turns out in the end?
ダメ人間って。
それはツンともせずデレもせずだらしなく伸びた金髪を揺らして歩く。見た目もそうジルジルって感じなのよ。
Oh, image just come to mind.
やめて、私の未来をリアルに予測しないで。
Stop admitting it's realistic or else you'll really let it come true. Have some standards. Come on. Yeah, Mitch's got it tough in her own right.
風見くん、ちょっといいかしら。
Do I now? Okay. As I watch Michiru thrash about to her beloved twin tails, swinging from side to side with all the kinetic energy of a traditional Chinese line dance, Sakaki sidles up and requests my attention. What? Haven't finished your homework either, Sakaki.
ついてきて。
Not dignifying my attempt at humor with a response, Sakaki pivots on her heel and begins to walk. I follow obediently.
ひとまずはここでいいわ。
After briskly making her way back up the stairs to the third floor, Sakaki stops abruptly and turns back to face me. So, why bring me all the way up here? Planning to confess your love or something?
ずいぶん余裕があるみたいだけれど、勝算はあるの？
Ah, so that's what this is about.
ええ。あなたたちが受けた依頼は、休み明けにあるテストをなくすこと。だとしたら、残り時間はもうほとんどない。明日になって授業が始まれば、さらに手を出しにくくなるはずでしょ？
Absolutely right on all counts, Sakaki.
ならこの状況で、小峰さんはどうやってあの依頼を達成するというの？
You'll find out soon enough.
あなたはいつまでそうやって答えをごまかすつもりなの？
Well, one day seems about right. Such a cynic. I'm not being evasive this time.
それはどういう意味？
I mean, Sashi's going to make her move today. On that note, I need your help with something, Sakaki.
手伝ってもらいたいこと？
Yeah, first of all, take these. I reach into my breast pocket, retrieve the tickets I prepared beforehand, and hold them out for Sakaki to accept.
これは
Oh, the 4 helicopter rides. So are you trying to get everyone out of the area for today? A complimentary helicopter ride ticket, 4 of them to be exact. Seeing Mishima Cave's beautiful night scenery spread out below you and all that.
これはあなたの方をビンタしてもいい合図として受け取ればいいのかしら？
I mean, I wouldn't say no. No, I am perfectly serious.
じゃあこのチケットはあの依頼にどう関係しているのか説明してちょうだい。
You know, there's one easy way to imagine how to stop the test. You know, there's actually a very, very, very easy way to stop this test. Isn't there? Well, not very, very, very easy, but very straightforward and very realistic way that could definitely be achieved much easier than anything Sachi's looking at. And that would be to kill all the students. And as fucked up as that is, I don't think it's going to go that route, but immediately that came to mind. Just because of the helicopter thing, I was thinking, like, crash the helicopter into the school, do that, and I thought, oh, wait, no, they're going to die then. And I thought, oh, well, that actually would achieve it if they all just died. Yeah, maybe. Probably not. Probably not. It depends how much, I'm gonna go with probably not, because it really depends on exactly how desperate Sachi is, and how liberally she takes the, rules and requests imposed on the situation. We already talked about the possibility of danger, remember? These tickets have a great deal to do with that.
つまりこのチケットは私たちへの配慮だと
Yeah, it's a win-win. We won't face any unfounded suspicion, and it'll be easier for us to act.
なるほど。あなたの言いたいことは分かったわ。
Glad to hear it.
でも、その説明で私が納得するとでも
No, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna give it to you. Pretty much, yeah. You did promise to help me out, and I trust you, Sakaki.
相変わらずずるい言い方だわ。
Mumbling in a sulky tone of voice, Sakaki quietly slides the tickets into her pocket. Thanks, I owe you one.
別に恩が売りたいわけではないけれど、このチケットで私は何をすればいいのかしら。
Nothing special, just go enjoy the view. Make sure you get the others to come along.
たったそれだけなの？
Over the last few months, I've learned all too well that corralling the group is never an easy task.
なるほど。確かにそうかもしれないわね。
I'm counting you to take care of them.
ええ。すべてが終わったら、じっくり話を聞かせてもらうことにするわ。
We'll see, we'll see. Cutting off the conversation, Sakaki turns to leave the room. Before you go, I want to apologize. Sorry, Sakaki.
これはどういう風の吹き回し？すべてを話せないことに対するお詫びのつもりなのかしら？
You'll understand soon enough as well. My wisecracks go over like a lead balloon. In the end, Sakaki stalks off down the stairs in even worse mood than before. Great apology, Yuuji. Sorry for the hassle, Sakaki.
ただいま
ただいまなのよさ。
No, because it's not your route. I'm not focused on you at the moment. Just as I'm leaving my room, I hear Amani and Makina returning through the front door. That's a lot of bags. Shopping expedition, I assume.
そうなんだけど、ちょっとおかしなことがあったのよね。
You don't say. How so?
いつもみたいにアマネーがお色気を振りまきながら商店街で買い物してたら、
Okay, so the weirdness doesn't have to do with her breast. Good to know.
みんながアマネちゃんやマキボウも大変だねって言いながらいろいろおまけしてくれたのよさ。
でも、私たちには何の心当たりもないから、得した反面、ちょっと悪い気がしちゃってさ。
So it's something that would instill pity, and something that the public might know about. My first train of thought on that one is that there's something involving closing down the school entirely. I see.
ユージは何か心当たりあったりする？
Nothing comes to mind. You know you could have asked them. Maybe they just decide to show some appreciation for your constant patronage.
だといいんだけどね。
The words don't exactly line up, do they? Not entirely convinced, Amani wanders slowly up the stairs to the second floor, with her head tilted slightly in puzzlement.
ねえお兄ちゃん、今日サッチン見た？
Come to think of it, no, she hasn't been around.
お兄ちゃんが見てないって言うなら買い物にでも行ってるのかもしれないのよさ。
That is a possibility, yeah.
じゃあもしサッチンを見かけたら私が探してたって伝えてほしいのよ。
Got it, I'll pass it along.
ありがとう。 てくるのよさ。
By snatching half-cooked food off the plate while her back turns.
失礼な。それは少しだけなのよさ。
I was never that specific, damn it. Pretty indignant, considering she's not even denying it. Not bothering to offer a verbal retort, I watched Mike and trot energetically up the stairs towards Amane's room. Assuming she's going to act today, Sachi might already have begun to make preparations. True. Sakaki successfully coasts the others out. The dorm lies silent and deserted. Alone on the roof, I gaze blankly out at the sinking sun. I'm sure the others had questions about this sudden event, and why Sachi and I weren't coming along, but none of them got to me. I guess Sakaki was thoughtful enough to take care of that. Not long till nightfall. I'm not particularly fond of the night. To be honest, you could say I actively dislike it. Night is a deep and hostile blackness that swallows us whole. A darkness so absolute that it feels like a premonition of death. It makes us remember things we'd rather forget, images we try to erase from our memories. It shows us with gut-wrenching clarity just how weak and powerless we really are. Of course, I'm aware that the same doesn't apply for everyone, but ever since that day, this is what the night has been for me. Ah, well, great. Even at a time like this, let my guard down for a minute and I start checking like an idiot. And tonight, there's more to it than just a old trauma. The vague anxiety I felt since I decided to bring Sachi normality is weighing heavily on my shoulders. I felt the same way when I forced her to accept this request. It's something like guilt. I drove Sachi's back to the wall for my own selfish reasons. Got practically everyone I know mixed up in this as well. And after all that, even if I succeed, will it really make her any happier? You're gambling with someone's life here. You're really alright with that? When I close my eyes, the other side of me whispers its doubts. Look at that. I'm trembling. Still scared of the dark at my age. Almost like a curse, isn't it? The students gathered in this academy all have their quirks, and I'm no exception. Right now, I'm just a piece of defense equipment, kept alive by my country for its own purposes. I'm not gifted with perfect insight and judgment. I've never been a genius like my sister was, far from it. Am I really qualified to be messing around with her life? When I voice my worries, I feel sweat gather unpleasantly in the palms of my hands. Still, if I let myself flinch this late in the game, my master would probably come back to life just to kick my ass since next week. That's right. No point in hesitating now. I already made my decision. I'll do everything I can. And I'll believe in Sachi. Darkness. Okay. I don't remember... Ooh. Oh, her perspective again. Shocking. I don't remember him having anything so far in his background involving the darkness. Darkness or being afraid of the dark. It's been a while since I did the other rounds, obviously. So I might just not be remembering.
昼間のうちに一箇所だけ窓の鍵を開けておき、そこから校舎の中に侵入。中に入ったら、そばに用意しておいたあれを校舎内に搬入する。
Mentally reviewing the plan I polished over these last few days, I followed the procedure with exacting care, one deliberate step at a time. From what the principal told us, the achievement test will be held the day after tomorrow. However, considering the opening ceremony tomorrow and the unpredictable obstacles it will present, today is my last real chance to carry out this task. But even after all my meticulous research and thorough brainstorming, I was unable to find a plausible alternative to my previous method. Oh, okay. So you're just gonna try it regardless?
でも、大丈夫。前回はうまくいったんだし、この方法自体に問題があるわけじゃない。
Except a lot of
ミス
things.
なく計画通りの手順を踏めば、きっと今回もうまくいく。だから大丈夫。大丈夫。
I repeat the words again and again, trying to convince myself they're true. Trying to distract myself from the hazy dark discomfort smoldering somewhere deep inside my chest.
これはきっと良くないもの。いい子でいるためには必要ないもの。だから余計なことは考えないようにしなきゃ。
Regaining my calm with an effort of will, a very disturbing one. I just need to not think. I begin to spread a certain something along the darkened hallway. The instant the liquid in the thick plastic can touches the outside air, a unique smell fills my nose. I knew the stench well even as a child, when I used to help pour new fuel into the kerosene heaters that warmed our home. But I never did come to like it. As the distracted thoughts run through my head, I empty the can, then drop the rag onto the floor and let the oil soak into it.
あとはこれに火をつける。
Where are you dropping the oil? When I whisper those words to myself, because if it's just one classroom, it's not like this place. There's plenty of other rooms we could use if it really came down to it. I feel a voice whispering back somewhere deep inside my mind. My hands come to a sudden stop. And as my thoughts turn to the nature of the voice, I violently shake my head back and forth, pushing it all away. I don't need to listen. Not now. I crash to the ground, determined, resigned, vaguely feeling some small part of myself give up as I reach out to the slick rag, a lighter clenched firmly in my hand. Are those eyes? They feel emptier than they were. The small seed of flame I plant at the corner of the cotton cloth blossoms quickly. Spreading along the line of fuel, it transforms before my eyes into a full-scale fire. A scorching heat batters my skin. It's not an unfamiliar sensation. I'm seized with a strange feeling, almost like nostalgia. But none of that matters any longer. Since this time I deactivate the fire alarms and sprinkler system beforehand, all I need to do is repeat this procedure a few times throughout the building.
これでみちる様の依頼を達成することができる。そうすればゆうくんから出された課題の答えもきっと見つかる。
For a moment, relief blooms in my chest, and in the next... The sound of a dozen showers switched on at once. The sprinklers installed in the ceiling spring to life. Oh, the feeling of failure. What will you do when you're backed into the utmost, complete, most significant corner you can be? Before I can even understand the situation, an almost disproportionate torrent of cold water rains down, soaking every inch of the hallway. The flames that were growing so vigorously only seconds before shrink with astonishing swiftness.
そんなちゃんと確かめたはずなのにどうして
Just last night, I entered the pump room and turned off every last one of the disaster prevention systems installed in this building, even testing that the sprinklers would no longer activate. But all of a sudden, they're completely functional. It's simply incomprehensible. Easy answer. The fire's gone out. That one thought filled my mind. I run over to the rag shelter with my body, desperately flick the switch on of my lighter.
お願いついて
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if it catches fire if the rest can't.
お願い
But the cloth's already soaked thoroughly with water. It refuses to accept the flame. A waterlogged piece of cotton isn't going to catch fire. I understand that rationally, but I still push the switch frantically, half crazed with desperation and terror.
どうして
So you chose this method after all. Hello, back to my perspective. I, Sachi, with dead eyes. Don't do something crazy. I have a feeling you're going to do something crazy. When I turned the corner into the thoroughly drenched hallway, I find Sachi crouched low on the floor, her eyes wide with shock. Interesting that she came in full school uniform, not the maid outfit she finds the easiest to work in. I guess she was trying to show respect for the place in her way.
まさかこれゆうくんが
Yeah, turn the sprinklers on this afternoon, if that's what you're wondering about. Well, it'd be a bit of a pain in the ass if the alarms went off, so I did leave those deactivated. Carefully shutting down the preventative systems beforehand to enable setting a large-scale fire. Just the sort of plan I'd expect from you, Sachi.
でも
どうしてそれをユウくんが、それにどうして今ここに。
It's actually pretty simple to predict the way a competent, careful person will approach something like this. If I was going to try and set fire to this building, I'd have done the exact same thing. Taking out the sprinklers was a necessity, and today was the only day to do it.
じゃあユウくんは私が学校に放火しようとしていたことを。
Yeah, I expected you to use this method from the start. And I turned the sprinklers back on because there's something I want to tell you. Sachi's mind doesn't seem to have fully caught up with the events. Her face is blank, her eyes filled with puzzlement. Most likely, she hadn't even begun to consider the possibility that someone would step in to interfere at this juncture. The situation you're dealing with here is completely different from the last one. The size and construction of this building is nothing like that little wooden schoolhouse. Plus, it's equipped with state-of-the-art firefighting systems. Disabling those beforehand was a good start, but sprinkling kerosene around like you did last time would require a lot more fuel to be really effective. And you need a lot more time to spread it. Considering that you absolutely have to do the job alone before anyone notices, your chances of success are virtually nil. It's entirely likely that you'd cause some damage here and there, but that's not going to be a huge problem. Tests would just be moved to an intact classroom. This place was designed for people like us, remember? You're not going to shut it down that easily. As I lay out the truth of the situation, Sachi stares up at me with disbelief and terror in her eyes.
じゃあ私は。
Yeah, at this rate, you're going to fail. The color instantly drains from Sachi's face. She slumps jerkily to the soaking wet floor like a puppet cut from its strings. Why so surprised? I'm pretty sure you knew this wouldn't work all along. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been searching that intently for another way. No need for all that research if your previous method was good enough. No matter how much you looked, no matter how hard you thought it over, no other solution presented itself. Unable to find a genuinely viable strategy, you had no choice but to return to your previous method. Since there's no other way, even if the prospects look dim, you can at least cling to the thought that it worked before. Am I wrong?
そんなことありません。前はこの方法でうまくいったんですから、絶対にうまくいきます。だから大丈夫なんです。
Oh boy,
だっ
Sachi.
て他に方法がないなら必ず成功させるしかない。失敗することなんて考えてはいけないんです。だって私に失敗は許されない。私はいつもいい子でいなきゃいけない。どんな手段を使っても絶対にこの依頼を成功させなきゃダメなんです。
I've never seen this expression on her face before. Never heard her voice so thick with emotion. Sound echoes fiercely down the dark hallway. No one responds. Her anguish and desperation hangs in the air for a moment, and fade into the indifferent silence as if to symbolize her long, lonely, futile struggle. Tell me something, Sachi. Why are you so determined to do everything asked of you? Why are you so persistent with this good girl thing? Getting rid of a test is completely unreasonable demand to make of a normal human being. The others said as much, didn't they? Even if you give up now, they'll probably just say, yeah, I figured as much. Nobody's going to hold it against you.
ウー君の推測に過ぎません。どんなに仲のいい相手でも相手の気持ちは相手にしか分かりません。それは血のつながった家族だって同じです。だから一度も失敗できない。何かを失いたくなければいい子でいないといけない。誰よりも勉強をして、誰よりも言うことを聞いて、誰からも好かれるような子でいなければいけないんです。そ うじゃないと
Oh, whoops.
みんな亡く
I
なっ
bet.
てしまう。
That is my bad. That sort of ruined the moment. I was just taking a drink of water and I accidentally nudged my mouse there.
現に幼い頃の私が悪い子だったせいで私の大好きだった人
Yeah,
私の前からいなくなりました。
in a sense you could interpret it like that, but
あんなに私のことを可愛がってくれていたお父さんとわがままばかり言う私に愛想を尽かしてあんなことになって、それにふくんだって
there is an advantage to me being one of the people she thought she lost because of it, isn't there?
大切なものを失うのは自分が死ぬことよりも怖い。あんなに辛い思いをするのはもう嫌なんです。もう何も失いたくない。だから私は絶対に失敗できないんです。今度失敗したらきっとまたみんないなくなってしまう。
No, 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 no.
こんな私に彼女になれって言ってくれたゆうくんもみちる様もまきちゃんもあまねさんもさくきさんも学園長さんもみんないなくなってしまうんです。
Sachi's feelings flow out of her in a torrent of words, her voice rising to a shout. Every sentence is filled with such bitterness that it's difficult to even listen to. The pain of losing those who were precious to her, the sadness, the impotent anger, all jumbled together in an anguished wail. To me, it sounds like the voice of a child crying out for help. So then, if you become a good girl, if you succeed in this request, will you be yourself again? Well, acting like a good girl should. Keep the things you love safe. What do you think, Sachi? Sachi spared her heart to me. In return, I offered not kindness or comforting words, but a steady gaze.
それはもちろんです。
Why? I'm probably not gonna ask. I have a feeling I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, help her achieve it. I see. In that case, I'll grant your wish. I'm going to help you become the person you want to be. I'll make sure you complete this task.
そんなどうして
I made a promise, didn't I? I want to help you be yourself.
だとしてもゆうくんはさっきこの依頼を成功させるのは限りなく不可能に近いって。
Virtually impossible means there's a non-zero chance, yes? And if you're not trying to do everything alone, things change pretty dramatically. As long as you really are willing to do whatever it takes. There are plenty of ways to get this done. Yeah, as long as you really are willing to do whatever it takes.
それは本当でしょうか
Maybe I could fake the deaths of the other students. Maybe that's it. But what's the vroom 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 part? Of course.
じゃあゆうくんには今回の依頼を成功させるための作戦があるんですね。
Yeah, I have a slightly different way of doing things, but it should be fine. The preliminary arrangements are already in place.
いつの間にそんなことを
I assume joint responsibility for our success on this job. And when 9029 participates in a mission, failure is not an option. Of course, this isn't an Ichigai job, and I'm not going on a cleaning expedition. Even so, I'm still my master's pupil. Asuko didn't just develop my technique and cram me full of technical knowledge. She taught me a whole way of thinking. No matter what the job entails, I'll face it with the resolve and focus I bring to the most dangerous missions.
9029
9029, okay, that's how he is supposed to pronounce it. It's just a number that comes with a bit of reputation. No matter how ugly things look, 9029 pulls through. Sachi gazes up at me, as though I've descended from a cloud from heaven. Having proposed this strategy, I naturally know full well how things are going to play out. When I think about what's coming, it takes real effort not to turn away from that gaze.
ゆうくん
No, it's nothing. shaking my head lightly to drive away that lingering touch of guilt. I settle my face into a serious expression. But since it's your perfect record at stake here, I think you should be the one to actually carry out this plan.
はい、私にできることがあれば何でもやらせてください。
Just her speech about why being a good girl matters is because she doesn't want to lose anything. I could easily imagine Yuji's plan being, in order to succeed in the task, she has to lose those things, which going back to that sort of makes sense. Then again, does Sachi know they're out and about on the helicopter? I could fake a helicopter crash, or maybe the vroom 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 is like destroying pillars in a way that could pretend they die in a classroom or something? Right, in that case, there's something I want you to do for me.
やってもらいたいこと。ここは学園長室ですよね。
Yeah, this is my base camp during the initial preparations. Although Jujiro might be irritated to hear me say it, I needed a room no one was likely to drop by and visit.
ということは、ずいぶん前から準備を。
That's right. The method I came up with involved a good amount of simple spade work.
なるほどです。
Anyway, everything's more or less ready to go, but we still need the finishing touch.
仕上げ。
I'd like you to help me with that. I retrieve a sizable duralumin case from behind the desk and swing it open.
これは何でしょう。粘土みたいにぐにゃぐにゃしていますけど。
Blasting shell, maybe? Guess it's not surprising that Sachi wouldn't recognize this stuff no matter how broad her studies may be. Well, she might have heard of it, but that probably wouldn't translate into recognizing it by sight. I'm hoping to wrap this up before midnight, so I'm not going to explain in detail at the moment. Just think of it as clay for now, just as, like you said.
粘土で学力テストをなくすことができるんですか?
Yeah, once you set some of that up in a few places, the job's done. Oh god, it's easy to see where this is going. I'll show you what needs to be done. I think you can handle it, Sachi.
はい、粘土細工は得意な方だと自負しています。お任せください。
Is it actually called blasting chill, or is it blasting clay? I know it's a thing. I know it's a thing, definitely. Your artistic talents aren't really relevant, but whatever. That confidence should be more than enough to pull this off.
はい。
Oh, alright. First of all, I'll explain how to install it. You see this deep hole here?
はい。それに点々と木箱のようなものが廊下に。
Well, getting all these ready was one part of the spade work I mentioned.
なるほどです。
Oh, that does explain it. You have to sort of like drill into it. Anyway, when you see a hole like this, install one of those long, thin pieces of clay inside, like so. If there's a square drawn on the wall instead, set one of these square pieces of clay on top of it. That's all you need to do for me. Any questions?
ありません。
Excellent. I've marked the points you need to cover on these plans, so go ahead and get started. I'll be taking care of something else in the meantime.
はい、わかりました。
Oh, bring her to despair, give her hope, and just to knock her down again, maybe? I feel like... Looks like that's about it.
はい。
Sachi can't fully mask the weariness in her voice or on her face. No doubt a result of all the pressure she's been under lately. Our final task complete. We can meet up in the courtyard as arranged beforehand.
私は本当に図面通りに粘土を設置しただけなのですが、これでテストをなくすことができるのでしょうか?
Yeah, as long as we didn't make any mistakes, it definitely will.
そうですか。
Apparently not fully buying my assurances, Sachi answers somewhat half-heartedly. Of course, she doesn't have the concrete details. To her, it really was nothing more than scattering some clay around the building. It'd be a stranger if she wasn't a little dubious at this point. Okay, I can tell you want to see some results, so let's get moving.
はい、わかりました。ゆうくん、私たちはどこへ向かっているのでしょう?
Sachi tagged along in silence for a good while, but eventually she's no longer able to contain her uncertainty. A place where we can overlook the school.
どうしてそんなところに?
You'll understand soon enough. Alright, I guess here will be fine. After about 20 minutes of walking, we reach a high place not far away. There's little cover of any sort. Below us, the reclaimed spits of land where school stands still lies clearly visible.
確かに学園が見渡せる景色の綺麗な場所ですけど、ゆうくんはここで何を？
Oh, come on, Sachi. It's not too difficult to have an idea of what he's trying to do. Strategically place locations of a material you're not exactly sure what it is. What could require you to go a significant amount of way, and also require you to set specific strategic locations on the plans deep inside structural areas, or like I assume it, of the building itself? Come on, Sachi. Before I answer that question, there's something I want to confirm.
確認ですか？
Yeah. You sure you want to do this? Fulfill this request.
それはどういう意味でしょう？
You want to do what you're told without fail. To answer every demand anyone makes of you. So you're absolutely determined to carry out even a completely unreasonable request, like getting rid of a test. That's a choice you're making here. You're sure you're not going to regret it?
後悔？
Listen to me, Sachi. This is an important question. Think it over carefully and give me an honest answer. Sachi falls silent, a serious expression on her face. Looks like she's already started to deliberate. I don't know what she's thinking. I don't know how she's reasoning her way through this question. No matter how dependent she may be on others, no matter how passive and obedient her way of life may be, in the end, her decisions are her own. If nothing else, I want to remind her of that.
ゆうくん、私はこの依頼を成功させたいです。
That was quickly enough.
いい子で居続けること。それが私が私でいられるってことなんです。
I see. Then I have no choice but to make her realize. Yes, that's going to cause a bit of trouble for you guys, but most of the breaks. Your luck ran out the day I transferred into your class. Sorry. Sakake, Amane. Michiru Makina. Alright then. Throw the switch in, you'll get what you want. With those words, I retrieve a crudely made remote control from my jacket and hand to Sachi.
私がこのスイッチを？
Yeah. It doesn't really look like much, does it? But I guarantee you, that thing will get rid of the test. Throw that switch, and you'll stay a good girl.
わかりました。
After staring down at the small box in her hands for a long moment, Sachi shifts her gaze to her school, firm conviction in her eyes.
中華街でたくさん美味しいものを食べて、私のお腹はパンパンなのよ。
God, that was a long... Okay, well, I guess everyone's gonna have a nice helicopter view of it.
確かにあんなに美味しい中華料理食べたのって初めてかもね。
てなわけでチルチル、私眠くなってきたからちょっと膝枕して。
In a sense, I'm not familiar with demolition procedures, but I can imagine this methodology being used for it.
はあ？なんで私がそんなことしなきゃいけないのよ。ちょっとだけだからね。
ありがとう、ジルジル。
Oh my.
ジルジル言うな。
じゃあジュルジュル？
それあだ名ですらないじゃない。もうただの擬音になってるし。
でも中華街で高級中華食べ放題の後はヘリで夜景鑑賞なんて。榊さんの家がお金持ちなのは知ってるけど、こんなに豪遊しちゃって大丈夫だったの？ええ、中華以外は私のお金じゃないもの。え？なんて？なんでもないわ。
ねえねえユミコ、あれが東京タワー、あれが噂の東京タワーなの。
How close are we to Tokyo? Huh.
松島さん、あなたが初めての空からの夜景に興奮しているのはわかるけれど、
失礼ね。私だって空からの夜景くらい見たことあるわよ。海外だって行ったことあるし。
That's actually true.
へえ、みちるって海外行ったことあるんだ。
まあね。でも遠い昔の話よ。
でも榊さんも粋な計らいしてくれるわよね。 夏休み最終日にこんな思い出作ってくれるなんて。そう思ったのならお礼は風見くんに言っておくといいわ。
そこでなんでユージ？
Amane, if you want memorable. Oh, this is gonna be memorable.
私に今日のことを提案してくれたのが。
なるほどなるほど。榊さんのテレブリにはそういう裏があったわけですか。それよりさ、夜景が綺麗なのが東京の方ばっかりで、三島崎の方はあまり見るとこない感じじゃない？
それはしょうがないでしょう。三島崎って割と田舎だし。
I mean, how far are we from Tokyo?
そうでもないのよ。さっきあそこがビカって光ったし。
Oh, it's okay. It's that far away that you just see it in the corner of your eye.
どこどこ？
Oh. A brief flash of light. Unlike an aerial bombing, there's no brilliant burst of flame to accompany the powerful sound of the blast. A pretty plain explosion as these things go. The school building where I spent the last 3 months of my life, and such nearly a year of hers, crumbles noisily before our eyes.
あれは美浜学園ですよね。
Yeah. Well, it was Mihama Academy at least. We just got rid of it, along with that test.
じゃあ私がさっき設置した粘土のようなものはまさか。
Plastic explosives. Modern Japanese architecture is world famous for its strict building codes and sturdy engineering, you know. Demolishing even a modest-sized structure requires a lot of detailed calculations, and boring to the supporting columns is a pretty involved process. Just getting the necessary amount of explosives ready was a real challenge. Anyway, with the building itself gone, the school won't be up and running anytime soon. That test isn't going to happen. In fact, I expect that will be the last thing going on in anyone's mind for a while.
確かにその通りです。
Sachi responds vaguely to my explanation, her tone absent-minded. The words seem to have left her mouth out of reflex. Her attention's clearly glued to the building below, or what's left of it anyways. Am I betting on Sachi's attachment to the place? I wonder. I hope that cat's not still there. The one Michiru was taking care of. Oh, that would be bad. Oh my. There are plenty of other formalities and preparations involved as well. I hope her dorms are okay. I don't want to sleep outside, I guess. Considering all the time it took to set this up, it sure disappeared pretty quickly.
そうですね。
Something wrong? This is what you wanted, right?
はい。ゆうくんの言う通りです。これでテストがなくなるなら、みちる様の依頼を達成したことになる。そうなれば、私はいい子で居続けることができます。それが私の望んだもので、私はそのためだけに今まで頑張ってきた。
She's crying.
なのに、それなのに、こんなにも胸がざわざわするのはなぜなんでしょう。
Apparently unable to grasp her own emotions, Sachi continues to stare down at the rubble that was once her school, her face blank with confusion. Well, destroying the school itself was enough to spark the feelings of losing something important to her. I suppose that's true. I was immediately going to the friendships. I guess I was much more extreme. I was much more extreme as a concept. Oh my. Can't understand where that's coming from, huh?
はい。
I guess that's not surprising. You've never felt uncertainty about doing what you're told, have you? Never felt it necessary to even consider how obeying an order makes you feel.
じゃあ、私は。
Put a hand on your cheek. Sachi obediently brings her hand to her face, and her fingers brush against a small stream of tears.
あれ、私、でも、どうして。
The girl wasn't even aware she was crying. Her confusion only deepening, Sachi looks up to me with a face full of pure bewilderment. You may not be conscious of it yet, but a part of you already knows the answer to that question. What was that place?
私が 去年から通っている学園です。
And?
ゆうくんがいて、皆さんがいて、今日まで本当にたくさんのことがあった場所です。
Specifically, what sort of things?
みんなでいろんな科目の授業を受けて、みんなで遊んで、屋上で流しそうめんをしたこともありました。
Anything else come to mind?
最近はいろいろな相談に乗っていただきました。ちょっとエッチな相談に乗ってもらったり、おしゃれの相談に乗ってもらったり、ゆうくんから出された課題について相談に乗ってもらったこともありました。
So, you spent a lot of time there. What sort of memories are those?
とても楽しい時間だったと思います。前の学校にいた頃は考えられなかったような会話と笑顔に満ちた空間。私が転入してきたこの美浜学園は、町の人たちから刑務所と比喩されるような場所とは正反対のところだったんです。
So I suppose if you were going to do this and you wanted to cover it up, you'd sort of have to... You'd have to do it this way, wouldn't you? Where you... It's announced it to the public, basically, or else there'd be a fucking panic and people would be saying, like, probably terrorist or something, right?
外では厄介者扱いされるような私のことを、この学園は受け入れてくれました。
Oh boy.
みちる様は私のことを必要としてくれました。まきちゃんは私のことを一番の友達だと言ってくれました。あまねさんは私にたくさんのことを教えてくれました。
God damn it, I did it again. I'm sorry. I need to put that water somewhere else.
榊さんは一歩引いたところからいつも私のことを気にかけてくれていました。
The words begin to flow smoothly, naturally. Sachi no longer needs my questions to guide her. As she begins to understand the meaning of her tears, her honest feelings come pouring out of her mouth.
私が大好きだったあの家のように温かい場所。それが私にとっての美浜学園です。
Artifacts.
はい、あの学園は私にとってきっとそれだけ特別な場所だったんです。
Right. And you just destroyed that special place with your own hands. Since your 10th birthday, you've been clinging persistently to a single idea, telling yourself it's the one and only answer. You do what you're told. Be a good girl. Never disobey. And your stubborn adherence to that simplistic rule brought you to this moment.
どうして私いい子でい続けたのに、あんなに頑張ったのに、いい子でい続けることで大切なものを失うなら、私は今まで何のためにこんなの違う、絶対に違う。私が望んでいたのはこんなんじゃない、こんなんじゃないのに。
Right? The only reason it happened is because you weren't thinking about what you really wanted. Remember what you told me just a few minutes ago? You told me that being a good girl is what allows you to be yourself. That is the only way to ensure your happiness. Sorry, but you were wrong. That's not how this works. Sure, an intelligent, pathologically helpful honor student will probably make plenty of, quote, friends anywhere they go. You're so useful to have around, and most people probably treated you nicely enough for their own convenience. And when they realized what you were carrying, when you were no longer of any use to them, I guess they abandoned you quickly enough. That's so it always will. But how about the people in this school? You think they're the same way?
それは
Do you really believe Michiru and Magina think of you as nothing but their personal lackey? Do you really believe that they'd abandon a friend for failing to carry out a single order?
思いません。
That's right. You've been so afraid of losing something that you couldn't even see what you had. You've been going through life curled up in a shell, both eyes squeezed shut. In exchange for your brittle happiness, you've lost sight of what's around you. You've lost something that you didn't even know you had. That's what I want you to realize.
大切なものを守ろうとして何かを失う。
Yeah. You know, human beings may be the smartest animals currently strutting around the earth. But that doesn't mean we're the wisest. No matter how much we learn or how advanced our civilization becomes, we're still complete idiots about the simplest of things. When it comes right down to it, we don't realize how precious anything is until we lose it. Yeah, I might be giving you a pretty pompous lecture right now, but I'm no exception to that rule myself.
じゃあ、ゆうくんにも。
Yeah. There was a reason I couldn't promise to play with you on your birthday. My sister died in an accident. And with her gone, my family crumbled in on itself like a house of cards. I'm the only one who got through it alive.
私、ゆうくんにそんなことがあったなんて全然知りませんでした。
Of course you didn't. I never told you.
じゃあ、もしかしてゆうくんはそのことを私に教えようとして。
Not entirely. I also wanted to learn something about you.
私のことを知る。
Yeah. There was a time when you could have asked me for anything. That all you requested was my praise. That's the one thing I've never really understood. But after hearing your feelings just now, I think I finally found my answer. I turned Sachi towards me and softly rest my hand on her head. It's been a long and lonely road, hasn't it? You did good, Sachi. You really did. Speaking in the gentlest tone of voice I can manage, I affectionately ruffle Sachi's hair. Her eyes open wide as saucers, and in the next moment, fat tears are running down her face. You were waiting to hear those words, weren't you? Utterly lost, overwhelmed by pain, sadness, and confusion, waiting for someone to show her the way forward. Waiting for someone to see the crushing guilt she carried, to know the punishment she levied on herself every moment of her day, to just tell her, you've done enough.
そうなのかもしれません。私、ずっと怖かったんです。テストでいい点を取って、お手伝いもして。そんな私をお父さんとお母さんは偉いねって褒め、それなのに急にお父さんとお母さんが冷たくなって、大好きだったあの家に機械の音ばかりが響くようになって、最後にはそれは私がわがままだったのがいけなかったんだ、もっといい子でいなければいけなかったんだって。
No.
だからもう一度も失敗できない、いい子でい続けなきゃって。
I see. Then I suppose I'm the only one who can tell you this now. You don't have to be a good girl anymore. I understand your feelings. I understand how hard you've tried. You've done more than enough. You can rest now.
それは本当でしょうか。
Yeah.
本当に私はもういい子でいなくてもいいんでしょうか。
Yeah, it's true. Her 10th birthday. A day that should have been full of happy memories ended in an unimaginable tragedy. Ever since that, she's lived a half-life, bound tightly to the irrational guilt of a child. Until this moment. The good girl she never truly was, The role she forced herself to play all this time evaporates with her tears into the warm night. All this time, she suffered quietly, locking her constant fear and pain somewhere out of sight. Nobody can erase those years, or the mark they've left on her. And nobody can undo the accident that ruined her life. There's one and only one thing I can do for Sachi right now. Hold her shaking body in my arms until her tears run dry.